Mercy Me is coming to Pittsburgh, the Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and special guest Andrew Ripp, Thursday, October 5th. Bring your family and friends to the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh for Mercy Me, Crowder, and Andrew Ripp live in concert. 3 multiple award-winning artists on one stage for one night. Let your spirit soar, your heart sing, and your faith ignite. Mark your calendars for Thursday, October 5th. Get your tickets now at mercyme.org.
Holidays with family are wonderful, and for many people, they are stressful. And whether you say it or not, everybody has ideas about what this is going to look like. And if you don't communicate what this vision is, bad part is, when you do actually get together, everybody's mad at each other. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Christy Wright Show, where faith meets personal development so you can have a bigger faith and a better life. I'm so excited because today we are talking about the holidays. That's right, happy Thanksgiving week. We are going to talk about how to remember to be thankful. We all want to be thankful, but sometimes, let's be honest, it's hard to remember to. We're going to talk about how you can do that, and then we are going to talk about how you can actually enjoy the holidays with your family. Family can be hard. Family can be awesome. But around holidays, it can lead to some tension and conflict. And I'm going to give you tactical things that you can do to make the most of your family time this holiday season. But first, let's talk about how to remember to be thankful. Now, if you're like me, you understand the benefits of gratitude. We know it, right? Like, you know in your head, yes, I want to be a thankful person. I understand that when you're grateful, you're happier. When you're grateful, you are showing worship to God. When you are grateful, it improves your relationships. There's so many benefits to gratitude. And yet, the day-to-day frustrations, the day-to-day grind can not only suck the joy right out of us, it can really make it hard to remember to be grateful. And so I love to take concepts that we understand in our mind, and I love to make them actionable. So I want to give you 3 things that are going to help you remember to be grateful. I'm assuming you want to be grateful. Most of us do, but sometimes it's just hard to remember. So I want to give you 3 very practical things that are going to help jog your memory and get you in that practice of gratitude. The first one is this. You can remember to be grateful because you can remember that you have a lot more than most people. Now, I know that we have a lot of thoughts around comparison, and we think, well, if I'm comparing, then it leads to unhappiness. And most of the time that is true. Comparison is the thief of joy. We understand that. Often we'll compare ourselves to people that have more than us, and it leads to discontentment. We're scrolling through Instagram and everyone's on a vacation and we're at home making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Oh, my life, right? When you compare yourself to people that have more than you, or you perceive to have more than you, or have something you don't have, yes, it steals your joy. Yes, it leads to discontentment. But here's what I've found. When you remember that you have more than a lot of people, it doesn't produce a posture of pride and arrogance. It actually produces a posture of gratitude. When you remember that you have things that other people would love to have, when you have things that other people have been praying for or would want to have, it gives you this posture of gratitude, not guilt, gratitude, where you can remember, oh, I'm so grateful I have this thing. I'm so grateful I have this family or this situation or this career or my health or whatever. It can be material things. It can be situational things. It doesn't matter. When you remember that you have things that other people would love to have, it can create this posture of gratitude and just help you remember to be grateful. Let me give you an interesting statistic that you may or may not know. Do you know that if you make $30,000 a year, you're in the richest 1% of people in the world? That'll change your ideas about your income, won't it? See, we often always look at what we don't have, and we feel like, oh, I need more. I need to keep up. I don't have enough. We're always focused on our lack. But when you remember you have more than most, it helps you remember to be grateful for those things that you have, whether it is an income or a house or health or family. It helps you remember to be grateful. So the first way you remember to be grateful is remembering that you have more than most people. The second way for you to remember to be grateful is to remember that you have many things that you prayed for in the past. I don't know about you, but sometimes I can get so bogged down with the difficulties of my day that I forget that the very things that are happening all around me, I prayed for. I remember being little, and my mom was a single mom, and I was an only child, and our house was really quiet growing up. Now, if you followed me for any amount of time, you know I'm not an introvert. I'm a people person. I love loud activities, celebrations, parties, people. I love all of it. And I remember thinking as young as middle school, when I grow up, I want a big family. I want siblings that are fighting and sharing clothes and laughing and loud and chaos. I want all of it because the house was just so quiet growing up. Now, often our childhood will determine what we want. We want what we had, or we want something slightly different than what we had. And I had a wonderful childhood with me and my mom. But I remember thinking, I want a big family and I want it to be loud. Oh, got it. I got it. Prayers answered. My house is chaos all the time. And if I'm not careful, I can get bogged down by that chaos, by the sheer volume of everyone shouting, vying for attention. He looked at me wrong. She pushed my train over. I don't like what he's wearing. Just the nonsense that goes on in our house with 3 kids under age 6. If I'm not careful, I will get so stressed out by the chaos, by the loudness, by the fighting, by the crazy. But when I stop and remember, oh, Christy, you prayed for this. You actually desired this from as far back as middle school, wanting a big family and loud and crazy and chaos, and you got it. And I know that sounds so simple, but I experience the craziness of this season differently when I remember this is actually an answer to prayer. I am so grateful to have a big family. And those of you that have 19 kids, you don't think my big family of 3 is big. To me, it is. And I absolutely love it. It helps me reduce the stress of the hard parts about this season and create gratitude when I remember these are things I prayed for. I don't know what it is for you. I don't know if you are now working in a job that you always prayed for, and sure, it's a little stressful, but oh my gosh, remember you wanted this job. Or a business that you worked so hard to build, and yeah, it's got some hard times, but remember, you prayed forever for this business to succeed. Or maybe a relationship that has been reconciled, and yeah, it's got some conflict and it's hard, but gosh, you prayed so hard for this relationship to be reconciled, and it is. Of course, in anything in life, there are hard parts about it. But when you remember that you prayed for that very thing, it helps you create a posture of gratitude for it. So the first way that you can remember to be thankful is to remember that you have more than many people do. The second way to remember to be grateful is to remember that you prayed for many of these things. You are living in the fulfillment of answered prayers. And that's a great reason to be grateful. The third way to remember to be grateful is to remember that every good and perfect gift is from God. I don't know about you, but I have a different level of responsibility to be grateful when I remember that God gave me these things. I think about when I get a gift from my child. Like I remember a couple years ago, I got Conley a new bike. And he was so excited about this bike. It's red and has a basket on the front where he can put his trains in it when he bicycles around. It's got little training wheels. And watching my son get on this bike and bike all over the neighborhood, and he was so excited. And he still is. He loves this bike. As the giver of this good gift, I am so delighted to watch my child enjoy that gift, to watch my child appreciate that gift, to be able to experience it as much as he can. I think often God gives us good gifts, and we either feel guilty for them or we are frustrated by them. Oh, I've got to do this. I have to go to work today. I have to fix this dinner tonight. I have to take the kids here and there. When we remember that job, that dinner, those children, everything that you have is a good gift from your Heavenly Father that loves you, it gives you a different conviction and responsibility to be grateful because he is a good God, and those are good gifts. It doesn't mean they're not hard sometimes. You and I know they're hard, and those feelings are real. Exhaustion is real. But when you remember that these are good gifts from your Heavenly Father, it helps you remember to be grateful for them. It helps you remember that they are from him, and our response to his goodness is one of gratitude and worship. These are 3 simple, practical things that you can do to remember to be grateful. And here's what's so interesting. When you get in the habit of practicing gratitude, where you look for reasons to be grateful, where you remember, wow, I have more than most. Wow, I prayed for that. Yes, it's loud and crazy, but I wanted that. Therefore, I'm grateful for it. And oh my gosh, this is a gift from my Heavenly Father. I will respond with gratitude for his goodness. These simple things, when you get in the habit of doing them, watch how much easier it becomes. Watch how gratitude naturally flows out of you, and then it's not so hard to remember after all. All right, y'all, we are going to talk about the holidays. Now listen, it is Thanksgiving week. You might be traveling to see family this week, and so I want to give you some tactical things that you can do to make the most of the holiday season with family. And by the way, reduce any potential conflict if at all possible. Now, I will tell you, holidays with family are wonderful, and for many people, they are stressful. Everyone can be walking on eggshells because they want to make everyone happy. If you are married, then you might have multiple different extended family members that have expectations about where you're going to go, what you're going to do, which traditions you're going to keep up, and what the holidays are going to look like. Now, we can't solve all of that in this one episode of The Christy Wright Show, but I can give you a couple of ideas, a couple pieces of advice that will help you reduce the conflict, reduce your stress, and hopefully reduce the walking on eggshells so you can actually kick back, relax, and enjoy your holiday season with the people that you love the most. So I want to give you 3 things. Ready? Number 1, communicate early. Communicate early about what you're going to do, and communicate early asking others what they plan to do. Communicate expectations, communicate boundaries. Open up the conversation as early as possible, because when you wait till late in December to talk about what you're going to do, by that point, people have ideas and expectations, and feelings can get hurt. George Bernard Shaw said, the biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has occurred. You thought they knew. They thought you knew. They thought that you were all going to get together for Christmas at your house, and you were going to cook every single dish, including those wonderful mashed potatoes that you are known for. You thought you were going to their house and they were cooking the food, and you were going to be able to get a break from the crazy kids for a minute. See, when you don't have clear expectations, when you don't communicate what those desires or expectations are, you miss each other. And when you miss each other, that's where conflict comes in. Maybe you thought that you were going to go to their house and you were going to have 3 days, and it was going to be this big Christmas tradition. You were going to go do all of the light show. You were going to have hot chocolate. You were going to read stories, this wonderful storybook Christmas at the grandparents' house. And the grandparents like, oh no, we're going to go travel the country in the RV. And you're like, wait a minute. When you don't have clear communication, people can get their feelings hurt. You might get your feelings hurt. The in-laws might get the feelings hurt. Your parents might get their feelings hurt. You have a lot of people that are involved when it comes to the holidays. And whether they say it or not, and whether you say it or not, everybody has ideas about what this is going to look like. Everybody has an image in their mind of what the perfect Christmas is, what the ideal Christmas is. And if you don't communicate what this vision is, if you don't communicate what your expectations are, what you're willing to do and not do, then you guys are going to have conflict, and it's going to lead to resentment. And then the bad part is, when you do actually get together, everybody's mad at each other. Everybody's angry and resentful and passive-aggressive or whatever, and it just can ruin a really magical time in the year. So what might it look like this week as you go to see your family or FaceTime with your family or have conversations with your family? What would it look like to bring up Christmas? It might look like a simple underhanded pitch conversation of asking a question, saying, hey, what are you guys thinking for Christmas? Do you want to do it how we've always done it? Or are you thinking something different? Or what are you guys thinking for Christmas? Because we're thinking about doing something different. Hey, what are you guys thinking for Christmas? This year, we really want to be home on Christmas. So we'd love to come see you guys if you'd like us to, but December 24th and 25th, we're going to be at our house. We can travel before that or after that. Or maybe you want to be at their house on Christmas. Hey, would you guys be okay if we were there on Christmas Day? We'd love to wake up on Christmas morning at the grandparents' house. You get to decide what's right for you. But I just encourage you, have the conversation. Communicate about the holidays, open up the dialogue, ask lots of questions, and then here's a really tactical thing you can do. Take some time to think about it. So maybe you bring up the conversation around the Thanksgiving table this week and you say, hey, what are you guys thinking for Christmas? We've been talking about it. We're not sure what we want to do yet, but I'd love to hear from you guys as we talk about it so we can find something that makes everybody happy as much as possible. And then you can go back with your family, you can go back with your spouse and have a conversation. Hey, they want to do this. My parents want to do this. Your parents want to do this. The stepmom wants to do this. What are you guys thinking? What's right for us in light of all that? Take some time to think, have a conversation privately where you're not on the spot feeling like you have to give the answer that that person wants to hear. And then you can circle back and say, hey, we talked about it. I know you guys want to do this. We're able to meet you here and there and so on. But having the conversation, communicating will be a huge step in reducing conflict. So the very first tactical thing you can do to have a great Christmas with all the family members is to communicate about what that is going to look like. The second is this, and this is huge and it is hard. So there's my disclaimer. This is hard. Remove expectations of how people are going to act. Now, I know you might think like, oh, how could you say that? Like, of course I expect people to behave around the Christmas dinner table, or I expect people to behave. Here's the deal. We set ourselves up for disappointment when you expect that someone is going to behave differently than they have behaved their entire life. When you expect that a family member is going to act differently than they have acted their entire life, you have a lifetime of proof of how this person acts. Good, bad, weird, whatever. Listen, if you have an Uncle Larry and your Uncle Larry is a yeller, and every holiday, Uncle Larry yells. He's boisterous. He's excited. He might be yelling and he's happy. He might be yelling and he's mad. All we know is Larry is a yeller. Don't go into Christmas expecting Larry to be quiet. Larry's never been quiet in his life. Go into Christmas ready with your earplugs because Larry's going to yell. And so just set yourself up. Or as I say to my kids all the time, I say, prepare your heart because whatever the consequence is that they're not looking forward to. Or as Carter quotes me, repair your heart. Repair your heart for Larry, okay? Just repair your heart for things to go how they've always gone. Now, it doesn't totally eliminate the annoyance of Uncle Larry's yelling or your aunt that's passive aggressive or your sister that's so judgmental on your parenting or judgmental because you eat gluten or whatever. It doesn't totally remove the annoyance. It is still annoying, for sure. It just helps reduce the stress of it. Because when you go in with expectations that Larry's going to be quiet, your aunt is not going to judge you, your sister's not going to judge you, and then they do, you're that much more disappointed. Just go in expecting that your family is going to be your family. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to act how they've always acted, and that's okay. You can go in with the right posture and expectations to reduce the stress that you're going to expect that they're going to do anything other than what they've always done. Good, bad, weird, or yelling, it doesn't matter. Reduce your expectations for how people are going to change suddenly this Christmas season. Let's talk about the third way that you can make the most of the holidays with your family this Christmas. So first, we talked about communicating early and often about what the holidays are going to look like. Number two, reduce your expectations of how people might change this Christmas season. Expect them to be who they are. Third, this is really simple, but here's the deal. If you do this, this could change everything. Laugh. Laugh. Have fun with your family and inject laughter. When your sister judges you for your parenting, make a joke about it. When Larry yells, joke with Larry about being a yeller. Whatever you do, inject laughter and fun into the holidays. I'll tell you one of my favorite things to do with my family. And this has been true of my mom's family. She has 7 siblings. And all growing up, when all the siblings would get together, we would sit around and tell stories. And you talk about loud. Like, I fit right into mom's family because we are all loud. And we would tell these stories to where we are crying laughing because you have a lifetime of memories together. This is a great time to look back on the past and tell funny stories. And you guys can go back and forth of, it didn't happen that way. No, I did this. No, she did this. And you're just rolling laughing. Whether you're telling stories from the past that makes everybody feel this sense of bonding and intimacy and laughter and fun, or you're just playing silly games. Bring out some board games, bring out some funny games, play charades, make jokes, play and laugh and poke fun at each other. This is one of the most fun, simple, beautiful parts about family and the holidays. You get together, you put your phones away, you eat good food together, and you just enjoy each other's company. Laugh and tell stories and watch how just injecting some laughter, playfulness, storytelling, games, watch how injecting that into the family time not only reduces the stress and tension, it makes the holidays a whole lot more fun. These are 3 simple things that you can do to enjoy your family this holiday season and make the most of it. Communicate early about what expectations are and what it's going to look like. Number 2, reduce the expectations that people are going to be different. And number 3, laugh and play. If you do this, I think you're setting yourself up for an awesome holiday season. All right, y'all, we are taking your calls. I love hearing your stories and I love answering your questions. So we're going to go to Madison, Wisconsin with Stephanie on the line. Hey, Stephanie, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. How can I help?
So I am wondering how I can stop stressing as seasons or even just day-to-day plans change.
Okay. Well, let's just unpack this a little bit. What stresses you out? Give me some examples. I feel like you've got some specifics here. So let's have it.
Yes. Yeah. So, for example, like earlier this summer, I joined a gym to kind of help with my health goals. And then at the end of summer, I changed jobs and it threw my schedule completely out of whack. And I've just had a hard time kind of getting back into that rhythm. But even on the day-to-day side, I'll have it planned out. Like I have to get this one thing done this week. I'm going to do it Friday. And then all of a sudden I get a call at 3 p.m. Friday that my family's having dinner or something like that. Yep. And it changes. Yeah.
Okay. Stephanie, I love this question because you are goal-oriented. You are a planner. You're a doer. You hold yourself accountable. You love to follow through, which are awesome traits. Those are awesome traits. It's nothing bad at all. Here's one of the things that I want to encourage you, though, and I've been kind of on this kick lately since releasing my new book, Take Back Your Time. One of the things that I think we don't talk about enough is not just seasons, but just anytime things change, how that gives us permission to change. Change our minds, change our plans, change our priorities. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say that you plan your week, and I am just like you. Sunday night, I plan my week ahead, and I say, okay, here's what I want to get done this week. And on Monday, I'm going to do this, and Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday, and so on. And then Thursday comes along, and I am exhausted. I didn't have any sleep. Ironically, this happened to me last night. I got no sleep at all last night, Stephanie. I had an early media hit this morning, and things just changed. Things got in the way of my well-intentioned plans. Now, what we often do is we hold our feet to the fire, beat ourselves up when we can't do it, feel guilty, feel like a failure, feel lazy, and just beat ourselves up when we don't do the thing that we set out to do back on Sunday night when we planned our week and we were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and full of energy, right?
Yes.
So there's just a very simple thing I want you to practice. I want you to get in the habit of asking yourself, what's right now? Not what was right 6 months ago at the beginning of the summer when I had these goals before I changed job. What was right on Sunday before I found out about Friday's meeting or Friday dinner or whatever. What's right now? What that's going to allow you to do is it's going to get you in the rhythm of assessing and reassessing what's right, even when things are changing around you. So let's just use the example of Friday. What did you say happened on Friday? You had plans to do something and then dinner came up?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. So let's say that happened. What was your plans on Friday that you were going to do?
I had to get some meetings scheduled with, I'm planning a wedding, so with the vendors for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's say that happens. Friday is the day for the vendor meetings. Tasting food, tasting cake. This sounds very fun, very exciting. Congratulations, by the way. So that's Friday afternoon, okay? So Friday afternoon, you have these plans, and then your parents call, and they say, hey, we're doing family dinner. So you then hold this new opportunity, this new thing, up against the vendor relationships, and you go, which is right? Which is more important? Which feels like it's the priority? Family dinner or vendor meetings? Now, I can't tell you that, Stephanie. And it's not always cut and dried where it's a really clear answer. But what it does do is it gets you in the rhythm of giving yourself permission to either change your plans if you want to, or stick to them with confidence if you want to. So you might look at that and go, you know what? Those vendor meetings are not really hard to move. I'm going to move those so I can be with my family. Okay, this is what's right now. I have permission to change my mind, change my plans, change my priorities as new things come up if I want to, because you are in control of your time. So you look at that and you go, okay, cool. I'm going to change those vendor relationships. Then what's going to happen is you're going to go to your parents' dinner and you're going to be confident that you did the right thing. You're going to be fully present there. You're going to be happy and free and not resentful that, oh, you missed out on that thing you really wanted to do. Now, you could make a case for the exact opposite scenario. Let's say the family dinner comes up and you hold these side by side and you go, what's right now? We do family dinner all the time. I really am excited about getting my cake tasting, my food tasting. I've been looking forward to this. It's really hard to reschedule. The vendor meetings are right for me. So that allows me then to say no to my parents with confidence and go, hey guys, I wish I would have known earlier, but I've got Friday booked because I've got these vendor meetings planned. So I'm going to need to go to these, but I hope y'all have fun without me. I'll see you next time. Either way, you get to decide what's right for you. And you could play this scenario out in a season. At the beginning of a season, you thought you were going to do this, and at the end, you're doing something different. In the gym example, oh, well, what's right now? Well, I changed jobs. So then what do I need to do differently with this new information? As cliche as it sounds, when things change, things need to change. We need to get in the habit of assessing and reassessing what's right now. It doesn't mean we're always going to change our plans because something new comes up. But what it does is it at least gives us a moment to consider which one is right. Is the thing we originally planned to do the right thing? And we need to stay accountable to that. And we need to say no to these new distractions. Or is the new thing the right thing? Is the new thing where Thursday comes up and you're sick and you're tired and you got no sleep and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to work out today. Because I thought I was going to have a lot of energy, but this week has been hard. I got no sleep and I'm really, really exhausted. I'm going to sleep in today. And I'm not going to beat myself up for not working out, because what's right now is to rest. I know this is such a simple concept, but I really think if you get in the habit of this, Stephanie, if you get in the habit of asking yourself, what's right now? Which is a priority right now? Then it's going to help you make better decisions. It's going to help you be confident in those decisions, be more present for those decisions, and shake the guilt for all the things that you said no to in that decision. I hope this helps. And I love that you're a planner and a goal setter. Hopefully this will help you maybe make some of those decisions in the future moving forward. Thanks for calling. Thanks for your question. All right, y'all. I love hanging out with you as always. You can tune in next week for another new episode of The Christy Wright Show. And of course, for more encouragement on becoming the person you want to be, visit ChristyWright.com.
Mercy Me is coming to Pittsburgh. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and special guest Andrew Rip, Thursday, October 5th. Bring your family and friends to the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh for Mercy Me, Crowder, and Andrew Rip live in concert. 3 multiple award-winning artists on one stage for one night. Let your spirit soar, your heart sing, and your faith ignite. Mark your calendars for Thursday, October 5th. Get your tickets now at mercyme.org.